We're here. We're back.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
It is January 8th. It's Monday, and we're going to do ourselves another little lightning news flash tonight. It is Elvis's birthday. Happy birthday, Elvis. It's been a while. 1935 he was born. How about that? January 8th. We got some other birthdays that are for all of us classic rockers are pretty big and important. We'll talk about those here in just a minute. But Elvis, this is the only vinyl that I have of Elvis. I wasn't a big Elvis fan by the time I was getting into music and doing all the things. Elvis was kind of a joke at that time, he was playing on Vegas doing, getting heavier and just it wasn't like he was in 68 when I was 4. That was what I thought was the primo time for Elvis, even though probably plenty of people would disagree. But when he came back and did that comeback show in 68, that dude was, that's a dude that dudes can look at and go, yeah. You're like, if I had, a little bit of that would be really cool. So my grandmother and cousin's birthday. Wow. Look at that. My grandmother was born on the same day and year as Elvis. I'm so glad I decided to do this today, Casey. Thank you very much. Wow. Dang. Can't believe it's January already. I know. You mean from 2023, right? Turned 50. Oh, that's adorable. That's adorable, miss. So I got you by 10. I turned 60 this year, huh? We never could forget her birthday. Yeah, absolutely, right? Was she an Elvis fan? I would assume, right? I would assume. Big Elvis fan there. You got the same birthday and, passed away in 2015. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so many things tied to this. I suppose the tragedy that it was, and I've talked about it on the show before, but I don't know if I've talked about it since I've been here on my own channel. But we went to Graceland a few years back. It was, as my wife so affectionately called it, our glorified beer run, because at the time they didn't have Yingling here from out there in Pennsylvania. The state's oldest brewery. So then that's the only place we could go. We had to go south or east to get it. And so she set us up with some tickets for Graceland, and I learned a lot about Elvis. Some things I was excited to be around and see. So much nostalgia and so much paraphernalia that they had there of his stuff, all of his costumes that he had for the stage, the Elvis film, not the newest one. I didn't watch all of that. I didn't enjoy it. It seemed a little off. So I didn't finish watching it. I did rewatch the Elvis movie that came out soon after his death with Kurt Russell. And that was even an interesting take. I did watch it all because I enjoyed it. I enjoy a good Kurt Russell film. Watching that was a different take even. However, it held true to the aspects that I had heard about when we were there in Graceland and the things that I learned after we took that trip. So like the fact that he held close the memory of the like a spiritual memory and thought of his twin brother who passed at birth. So that was very interesting. It had some reflective moments in it. But you start looking at all the things that happened in his life. You start understanding those things, why he was, did have the drug issues, drinking issues, why he was doing the, he had just out and out threaten his entourage and plan on firing them, with a gun. it just got out of hand. As soon as his mom died, she was like this navigation compass for him. And once she passed, then it was kind of all or nothing, that's the way I saw it. And it was just tragic. How we can lead ourselves into certain places because we feel there's a void to be filled. And we just, in his situation, he wasn't in charge, and there was a lot. There was a lot. Let's just put it that way. When the whole world is looking at you and wants you and whatever, for whatever reason it is, that's a lot of weight. None of us are made for that. None of us are made for that. See, well, thank you very much. Although evidently I did when I was running around with Wayward Sons and Steel Panther over in Europe. Evidently I did, because that's been a few years ago now. And a woman that I met there on the tour, I was pretty ragged by the time, I'd run around and we got to this gig, and it had been a rough time hanging around, and it only got rougher for me. So I suppose I hadn't slept a lot. I'd been walking around a lot, carrying my backpack, which had all my luggage, everything I had on me was on me. And by the time I got done that evening, trying to figure out different things and kind of worrying a little bit about other things. I'll tell you more about that later when we do a show about all that. Toby Jepson will be with me next month. So we're looking forward to that. But the woman I had met there, I said, well, how young do you think I am? That's usually how I ask people their age. How young are you? And she goes, oh, I'm used to people saying younger. Oh no. She goes, 60. I was like, oh, wow. Like, okay, never mind. But she and her friend did give me a ride to the airport, and like I say, we'll talk about that. I appreciate that, Miss So. Thank you, Lance. Do smash that button, give me a like, hit the notifications, and anybody else you really like. I did hear I'll talk about this here in a minute. I did see a podcast tonight, which is leading me to my show, which is already out there. You guys, if you have the notifications smacked, you will, or hammered. Oh, there you go. Hammer that notification bell. And if you noticed it, I have a vinyl tag that I'm going to do this week. There's the vinyl community out there on YouTube out here. And I just became aware of it today. That's just the way I am. I don't watch a lot of other podcasts right now. I've seen some, but it's like anything else. I remember interviewing a lot of rock bands back in the 80s into the 90s, and you're like, what are you listening to? And you think it's going to be something similar, and they're like, well, I really don't listen to stuff that's like ours, or a lot of this or that you might think I'm listening to, because they don't steep themselves in it. They still have to write music. We still have to do shows the way we do shows, right? So it gets tough when you want to check out what everybody's doing, and maybe you see something you really like and you're like, oh, I'm not doing that. So it gets to a point where you're like, I did watch quite a few different people tonight, so I felt pretty good about that as far as the community is concerned. So that was good. But it does kind of get rough, especially when you're first starting out, because it's that way with anything, right? When I first started playing bass, I didn't like other bass players being around, because I'm like, oh, I suck. I mean, I don't even need anybody walking around going, yeah, they didn't do that. Nope, he didn't do that. Oh, wow, he did that. So it gets a little rough. It's intimidating. Intimidating is the word. So, but I do thank you guys for being here tonight. This is, I do these last minute lightning news flashes, and sometimes I don't know who all is going to be here, but I do appreciate you guys always hopping in and saying hello. And again, like all those people, my point was, somebody did say earlier, just subscribe to them all. Doesn't mean you got to watch them all, but It's a big help, I was never a huge Elvis fan, but I'd watch the occasional movie, listen to occasional song. That was me. Recently, I didn't even watch the movies years ago, but as soon as we went to Graceland, I had an interest to check it out. So, it is kind of cool. It is kind of cool. Don Johnson played Elvis in a Elvis and the Beauty Queen. What do you know about that? I did not know about that. Thank you, Lance. That's pretty cool. Don Johnson had a great hit in 1986. I was just talking about that with my friend. He had his hit with Heartbeat in 1986. Really one of my favorite songs to play on the radio. I'll be talking about that too as we go down and I do more. And we all get older eventually. That's right. Gary Busey doesn't work on January 8th because it's Elvis's birthday. From DC Cab. Is that right? That's great. DC Cab was just released at what was it, last month, Lance? I think you put the thing out where it was released in December, I think, back in when, 80 something. Wow. So Elvis's Christmas album and Come On Everybody. There you go. Those are the two vinyl that I think I probably inherited these. So yeah, on Pickwick Records. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, and then this is from when I went. I have my Elvis 68 shirt on. Love it. And then the Elvis towel, which was on sale when we were there at Graceland, and we went to the gift shop across the street. How about that? And I have a metal sign. I wasn't about to yank that off of the end of my record rack over here, but I bought a cool metal sign. They had some of those on sale or something, and I bought one of those. So yeah, Elvis though, I should have picked them out of here. I'm so sorry about that. We'll go through that again some other time. I did buy some of his movies. I watched a few of the movies. I started off in the beginning, and I think I owned Kid Creole. Is that what it was? And I also have a box set that I got at one of my old jobs. They had DVDs there that we could, go ahead and snag if we wanted them. And then I have some Elvis books, some things like that. I'll be interested to read through some of those because of the fact that I don't know what they say. I would like to get a copy, though, of that Elvis Presley movie with Kurt Russell. So if anybody happens upon one of those, let me know. Let's see. What is everyone's favorite Elvis song? Mine, thank you for asking that question of everybody. Mine, I would have to say Suspicious Minds, I think is probably mine. It's really, although it took on a different meaning the more I learned about him and watching films about his life. And it became a little more sad because of the fact that, he's basically singing that song to Priscilla, just all of the different things that he'd be gone. He'd go do a movie and hanging out with Anne Margaret, and there's, rumors and whatnot about them being together. And that's, of course, when they were married. And you're just like, so it's when you're Elvis and, it's one of those things where you're like, why'd you ever get married? Because it's going to be impossible being Elvis Presley. He's being a dude. That's about all I'm going to say about that, because I'll get myself in trouble. But no, I think Suspicious Minds, also Burnin' Love. I played that in our band. I wouldn't mind getting back to it. Although he didn't like that song, is my understanding. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. So I'll see if I can get it. But he didn't like it. Didn't really want to do it. But so be it. You do some things like that, like Ace Frehley doing. I was just rewatching one of my old streams, and it was talking about Kiss and their solo albums, and how Ace Frehley didn't want to do Russ Ballard's New York Groove. He's like, I don't get it. Why am I doing this? But he did it, and it earned him the only hit out of all 4 of those records. So he had a weird relationship with his mother, seemed to affect his relationship. Yeah, I mean, would you call it weird though? I get what you're saying. Would you call it weird, or would you just call it he was a mama's boy? I mean, let's face it, that's what it was. She took care of him. She had to take care of him because his father at that time, as he was growing up, was not reliable. So it was all about his mom, because she's the one that stayed true and was there for him and there with him when his dad got thrown in jail for not writing a bad check, but it was what was it? It had something to do with a bad check, and so he got thrown into jail. So he was a guy always looking to a way to get money, and it wasn't always legal. So he became really tight with his mom, and I get it. There are some guys that just happens when you're an only child. So yeah, but then it seemed like I say, it seemed like she was his moral compass, and once she passed, then he was in the hands of the colonel, and the colonel was freaking ruthless and not a good person for him to hang out with. So, Blue Moon. I don't know if I've never heard that. Because I know he did. Well, he never wrote anything. Let's just face it. He never wrote anything. He has his names as writing credits on certain things because the colonel worked it out that way. Dolly Parton, as you've heard me say many times before, said, nope, I'm not giving away any part of my writing. Good job, Dolly. And just smart. And I get it. He was so popular. That's the tough part. See, when we allow people to get too powerful, then we fall prey, and that sucks. That's no good. Yeah, but yeah, Burn in Love. That's one of my favorites too. Before I go let's get into the next thing. I do have unboxing, but let's take a look at this. We also want to. Some of these things are depressing. I'm sorry about that, but it's just the way it is, history-wise. Let's see. In 2022, Marilyn Bergman, she's an American songwriter. She died at the age of 93. And so together with her husband, Alan Bergman, they wrote music and lyrics for numerous celebrated television, film, and stage productions, including Barbra Streisand's The Way We Were. 2021, let's see. I'm not going to worry about that. 20... Here we go. Well, this one is major right here. David Bowie in 2016 released his 25th and final studio album, Black Star, coinciding with his 69th birthday and 2 days before his death. It became his first and only album to reach number 1 on the Billboard 200 album chart in the U.S. At the 59th Annual Grammy Awards, the album won awards for the Best Alternative Music Album, Best Engineered Album, Best Recording Package, and the title single won Best Rock Performance and Best Rock Song. The album was also awarded with the British Album of the Year Award in 2017 Brit Awards. Now, this one's really interesting, too, because I've got a bit of a vinyl confessions today, too. 2014 vinyl sales. It was reported that vinyl record sales had increased 32% in 2013, while CD sales declined 14.5% in the last year. Vinyl sales grew 32% from 4.5 million units sold in 2012 to 6 million sold in 2013, according to the Nielsen SoundScan. In 2010, Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page launched a new set of stamps in the UK, which featured classic album covers from the last 40 years, including Coldplay, Power, Corruption and Lies, New Order, David Bowie, and Park Life by Blur. In 2004, George Harrison, the estate of George Harrison, started a $10 million legal action against Dr. Gilbert Lederman of Staten Island University Hospital. You may remember this, claiming the doctor coerced Harrison to sign souvenirs. The main allegations of the legal action was that Dr. Lederman got an extremely sick Harrison to sign his son's guitar and autographs for his two daughters. I mean, wait till you hear about our story about the knack. Bear that in mind. 2001, Axl Rose. There was a woman who believed that Axl Rose communicated to her via telepathy and was arrested for stalking the Guns N' Roses singer for a second time. Police detained Karen Jane McNeil after she was spotted loitering outside his house. This one was tragic too. This is, tragic, just sad. Nobody's dying here, but it was a dangerous situation for them. I was watching the series Beckham, and in 2000, it was reported that police foiled a £1 million or $1.7 million kidnap plot to snatch Victoria Beckham and her baby son. The plot was uncovered after a tip-off to the police. The gang had planned to kidnap the pair when husband David was away playing football. In 96, Los Angeles court found Robert Hoskins guilty of 5 counts of stalking, assault, and making terrorist threats to Madonna. Hoskins had twice scaled the walls of the singer's estate and threatened to slash her throat from ear to ear. Whew, really? There's some mental stuff happening there. Okay, well, here's one. 94, let's see. Jamaican reggae rap duo Chaka Demus and Pliers were at number 1 in the UK with their version of Twist and Shout. The song was originally recorded and produced by Phil Spector. That Okie dokie. By the Top Notes in 1961 and then covered by the Isley Brothers. It was also covered by the Beatles on their first album, Please Please Me. Here we go. This is another sad one in the rock and roll area. 1991, Steve Clark, guitarist with Def Leppard, was found dead in his Chelsea flat by his girlfriend after a night of heavy alcohol consumption combined with prescription drugs. The autopsy revealed he had died from an overdose of codeine and had Valium, morphine, and blood alcohol level of 0.30, 3 times the British legal driving limit. 2007, Clark was ranked number 11 on Classic Rock Magazine's 100 Wildest Guitar Heroes. 1979, Canadian band Rush were named the country's official ambassadors of music by Canadian government. Industry sources estimate their total worldwide album sales at over 42 million. They've been awarded 14 platinum and 3 multi-platinum albums in the US, plus 17 platinum albums in Canada or Canada, where the Canadians are from. 1972, I am having trouble with my speech. The New Seekers were at number 1 on the UK singles chart with I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing. In perfect harmony, the song started as a Coca-Cola TV ad. Who doesn't remember that? That's around my age. It originally included the line, I'd like to buy the world a Coke. 69, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards were both barred from an exclusive hotel for wearing op art pants and nothing else. They were both asked to leave in the Hotel Krillin in Lima, Peru, after refusing to change clothes. In 66, the Beatles started a 6-week run at #1 on the U.S. album chart with Rubber Soul. That's one of my 2 favorite albums by the Beatles. I also love Revolver. The group's 7th U.S. chart topper, which went on to spend 56 weeks on the chart. Rubber Soul was the group's first release not to feature their name on the cover. The group also started a 3-week run at #1 on the U.S. charts, U.S. singles chart with We Can Work It Out, the group's 11th U.S. #1 single. In 58, the Everly Brothers kicked off a 17-date North American tour in the Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina. Also on the bill, Buddy Holly, the Rays, Royal Teens, Shepherd Sisters, Paul Anka, Margie Rayburn, and Danny and the Juniors. And finally, in 57, Bill Haley and his Comets started the first ever rock and roll tour of Australia, playing 2 sold-out nights in Sydney. I also like these little, they have some little factoids too and things. I Fought the Law is what this one is called. In 1979, Chuck Berry was sentenced to 5 months in jail after being found guilty of tax evasion. Quotes, love songs? Yeah, I like love songs, provided they're about beer. That was Lars Ulrich from Metallica. Let's see. My first gig, says David Gray, the Smiths in 1985. Let me see. My first record by The Edge of U2 was Beatles' Hard Day's Night. How about that? And born on this day, we have a couple other people that make that, kind of that rock and roll list. We have Jeff Abercrombie, who was a bass player of Fuel. And I'm not going to mention that one. It's just, Paul Hester of Crowded House was born today in 1959. He's just a little bit older than I am. In 1958, Steve Garvey was born, guitarist for the Buzzcocks, English punk band. Paul King, who was in Mungo Jerry, who had 1970 hit in the summertime, as well as the hits Baby Jump and Lady Rose. And of course, David Bowie, born today. Robert Krieger of The Doors in 1946 was born. Let me see here. We got Terry Sylvester, guitars, vocals, Swingin' Blue Jeans, The Hollies, was born in 1945. Lee Jackson was 1943. Let's see. John Peterson in 1942. We're getting out of our range here. Shirley Bassey, though. This is somebody that you'll still hear about. A Welsh singer, was born in 1937. In January of 1959, Bassey became the first Welsh person to gain a #1 single, and later had a 1970s a single cover of the Beatles' George Harrison song Something. And then she also had hits with the James Bond themes, Goldfinger in 64 and Diamonds Are Forever in 71. And Moonraker then in 79. So you can check those out. And of course, in 1935, Elvis. In 1928, let's see, Luther Perkins was born as a member of the Tennessee Three, the backup band for the singer Johnny Cash. So there you go. Kind of cool. Cool. Cher says her first gig was Elvis when she was 11 years old. Wow. Joan Jett said her first record is Free, all right now. Probably the single, huh? That takes me to another thing that's happening Wednesday. I bumped into these. Let me see what's going on here in the chat too. What's up? Yeah, Brother Joe. Brother Joe did say Blue Moon. What about, let's see, Lance, David Bowie and Peter Frampton were childhood friends. That's right. Peter's career was failing in the 80s. Bowie took him on tour. as his guitar player. Yeah. I'll make mention of that sometime soon, about hanging out with Peter Frampton. Real nice guy. And then there's a really cool video out there. If I can find the link, I'll share it with y'all, on the Facebook page probably, or you can just search for it, where it's Peter Frampton and David Bowie in the 80s, I believe in the 80s, walking around Milan. That's kind of wild. They're just kind of hanging out. Lars, always a character. Absolutely. Little Richard could have owned a percentage of the Beatles early in their career. Little Richard refused, saying they sounded like the Everly Brothers. Welcome to another edition of Kick Myself. So I was checking out these podcasts by the Vinyl, what is it called? The Vinyl, why can't I say it now? Vinyl Community, the VC. And every year they put out these vinyl tags. So the new one for 2024 has been put out. Rob Walters, check him out. Rob Walters out there doing a show from Manchester, and you can check out his videos out there. And I'll be doing that on Wednesday. So what they have is he put out 20 questions, and then I'll have to go through my vinyl and figure out how I will present myself. I don't know that I don't have something for every question, every category, so, which is no big deal, but I've got plenty of it. I mean, the majority of the 20 questions, I have something I can use. So that'll be Wednesday, along with whatever you guys have in mind on Wednesday afternoon. If there's questions you have, the story of Frampton getting his guitar back up is fascinating. That's just nuts, totally nuts. But yeah, go out there, check out Vinyl Community, and then see what everybody's doing for their 2024 vinyl tag. There's some really good ones out there and some really cool stuff. It's really neat to see the collectors out there. I mean, these guys are collectors. I mean, I have vinyl, and I do kind of collect some things, but woof, I mean, these guys, this is a pittance compared to what some of these guys have, because they are collectors, and they got some shit. I mean, these guys, woof. So if you'll notice, this was just a brilliant time hanging out there. I wish I could find it quickly. I just don't know that I can. I have it, I downloaded it, and then failed to get it in here. That's on me. I don't know. I might be able to find it easily enough. I just don't know if I can. I went to the store and I took some videos. We had some crazy weather here the other night. It was unnerving driving in it. I did do that. And it was a wet snow. It was perfect for making snowmen and having a snowball fight. It was great for that. If I could have just stopped off and done that, that'd have been fantastic. But nope, I didn't do that. Let me see here. I'm just trying to see if I can get to it real quick. But I've got so many pictures of other things, and I know it's here. It is. Is this it? No, that's not it. But it should be right in here. But going into Springfield, I picked up my friend yesterday morning, and we drove up to Springfield, and we went to two shops. One of them was Dumb Records, because I thought, well, while we're up there, let's just see what they have for a place that would have some vinyl. And sure enough, I found Dumb Records. I was like, what a great, crazy name. It just was nuts. And so we were on our way. We also went to Penny Lane. I've told you about those guys before. I may be getting close to finding this. I don't know. But I shot a couple of videos in there. So I'd love to show them to you. So we went up. Penny Lane, again, is not a store where you're going to find records. You're not going to find music in there, but you will find music stuff. and some really cool music stuff. They have posters and banners and t-shirts, and they have tie-dye clothing. They've got patches and stickers and magnets and all kinds of stuff. It's a head shop in there too. They have all kinds of stuff in there. They have metal signage. We picked up one that was just freaking brilliant. And it's here. I'll show it to you shortly. I'm finding pictures that are pretty recent, so maybe we can find it here. The snow is gorgeous, though. I'm just sad it's already gone. I love the snow. And Peter Frampton put out Frampton Comes Alive. I think that was yesterday when that happened. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so hold on. Let me see if I can do this here. Let's see. That's the Penny Lane one. Sorry, I hate doing this while you guys are with me. So, yeah, and this one's got to be the Dumb Records. The thing about the Dumb Records was it dumb? Yeah. Is that they just had so many good things in there. Something that I'm eager for Jeff to see this, my buddy from Go Game Go. Because there was some crazy cool stuff. Let me see if I can get these put in, and then we can show you if they'll load. But there was some. I had to basically go A to Z. That's all they had. It was in all the groups were just A to Z, and so I had to look through everything and see what I could find. So let me see if I can go in here and do the D thing. Dumb. Why isn't it doing it? Why won't you do it? I don't know. That's weird. All right. Yeah, I must have to convert it. So anyway, I'll convert it and I'll put it out there. But a great shop. Immediately we walked in and started talking to Mac, the woman who was working there. She was filling up the drinks in the front refrigerator and was snarky and awesome right off the bat. We loved it. I'll tell you about this bag here in a minute. And I have some things in here that I picked out at Penny Lane. But in the meantime, here's the bag. You know the bag. So this is what we got. There's their bags. I was glad to have that. I like to get those so that especially when they have their logo on it. So let's see what we got, shall we? We got it. I got a lot. I just couldn't believe it. And you remember the other day? The other day I mentioned, here's my sign that I bought. You ready for this? Dorothy and Alice. I love this. I've seen some weird shit. It doesn't get much better than that. I just couldn't believe it. It was great. I showed it to my friend and he just was like, he just kept saying it over and over again. I go, I know, right? It's one of those. It's so funny. You know, it's funny when you just keep reading it over and over again. I am not going to start there. That was the last thing that I found. The first thing that I found, again, it was nuts. I couldn't believe I found it again. Do you remember this? Fancy. $2. $2. I had to get it for $2. I got another copy. I just bought this the other day in Kansas City. But it's always good to have another one that you can put on the wall. And this is the one that has their version of Wild Thing. That's the name of the album. And remember, this guy that's Les Binks, the drummer for Judas Priest, during Stained Class and during Hellbent for Leather, or The Killing Machine. I also found, let's see, what else did I find? What was next? I found, that was not next. That was not next. That was not next. This must have been next. This is an album, classic album that a friend of mine played for us in high school. This is another Bob Glidden thing, Flash in the Pan. So back in those power pop days, in those late 70s days, this was on Epic Records. And I'm trying to see who produced this one. That's always a plus to know, you know what I mean? Especially for me, it kind of tells me whether or not there's an extra reason that I'm going to love it. Oh my. Okay, see, all compositions by Harry Vanda and George Young, except California by M. James. This is produced by Vanda and Young. Ring any bells? AC/DC. After Mutt Lange stepped away. Wow. So there you go. They wrote the songs for Flash in the Pan on this album, except for the one. It's pretty cool. Now, I always get this. If it's a reasonable price, I buy it every time. I've shown it to you before. All the way from Ireland, Dublin, Ireland, is Horselips, the man who built America. So I get those in case I want to give them as a gift, because it's a fantastic record. I'll be giving a copy to Liam from Hell's Addiction soon. Here's another one that I'll pick up whenever I see it at a reasonable price. This is still sealed. This is Moon Martin. You see that? Escape from Domination. And this is the gentleman who wrote the Robert Palmer hit, Doctor, Doctor. Bad Case of Loving You. That's Moon Martin. On that album right there, Escape from Domination is his one of his biggest solo songs, Rolene. Then I found this. I love this album cover, and I love the song, You Angel You. This is Manfred Mann's Earth Band, Angel Station. Again, price was right, $3. Then we get into, this is one for Jeff. I'm showing you this one. Jeff and I are going to do our show here soon, talking about our adventure with the Knack. It's what started us on our friendship journey, and it's the reason that we do a show today, is because of the Knack. This is live at the House of Blues, September 25th, 2001. This is right after we saw them live in Chicago. We took a road trip and saw them up there. And this has Pop is Dead, Baby Talks Dirty, Oh Tara, Can I Borrow a Kiss, Another Lousy Day in Paradise, Good Girls Don't, One Day at a Time, It's Not Me, Harder on You, Siamese Twins, The Monkey and Me. Great. One of my favorite songs off that first record. 7 Days of Heaven, Tequila, and Break On Through to the Other Side. That's What the Little Girls Do from their second record. Frustrated, She's So Selfish. There's a big thing about that one we'll talk about. My Sharona, Let Me Out. Every song on the last side, which is side D on this, is all from the first record. That's amazing. Except for the ending song, Last Train to Clarksville. That's really, really cool. I flipped out. So it's a gatefold, 2 albums. I don't even know if it's going to easily come out of here. I'd love it to, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. So let's take a look at this. Gorgeous. Look at that. Plenty of stuff to read. I'll read through that and I'll make a video of it. And we'll go through that. So a little something special I thought of Jeff while I was out and about. Jeff's like, well, why'd you buy me? You should buy me that. Here's one that I'll buy whenever I see it, if it's at a reasonable price. And this is in very good condition. You've heard me talk about it before. It's my favorite. It's my favorite new wave album that I've ever heard. And this is in really good shape. Good Lord. I didn't realize in what good a shape this was. Bill Nelson's Red Noise. Sound on Sound. Such a great record. If you've never heard it, make sure you even get the remastered version, which has extra tracks on it. So good. Such a good record. And so I flip out when I see it, especially in this good a condition. Zoinks. Bill Nelson, of course, was part of Bebop Deluxe for many years. They had a lot of good records came out. Now, here's speaking of records, how do I do this? It's like a natural segue thing. I don't know how that happens to me so often. I'm a very fortunate boy, and I am a boy. Just saying, that's how I think. Such a boy. And you'll understand that later when I do my vinyl tag. This was one I just bought. This is a promotional copy, not for sale, but I bought it. They sold it. This includes special limited edition 4-track EP. I wonder if that's true. I don't know if it does or not. I didn't even think to look for that. 4-track EP. That's interesting. Because there's no other listing on here about it. But it is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. But it is an album I just bought recently, and the cover was in bad shape. On the other one that I bought, it's unfortunate. I didn't look closely enough. But see, promotional, this is the records. It's a really good record. I've never heard it. Well, I had never heard it, but I knew of it. I think my friend had it. And so I picked it up. I love this record. And there you go. Now, see, that's all good. It's all good. Not like the other one where it's torn. I think I showed you that one. That was sad. Sad. Now, a while back, and I'm gonna I might do a reprise of this show instead of showing the old one. I may redo it on this channel, but I found the other Ronnie Laws. Ronnie Laws had Pressure Point. I believe it was Pressure Points and Friends and Strangers, which are both album covers done by Peter Lloyd. So there you go. Friends and Strangers by Ronnie Laws. There he is. The Laws family is very popular in the music world. Some of them played for Earth, Wind, and Fire. Then I couldn't believe I found this. I'm like, I got to get it because I'm not sure that I have one in here anymore. This might have been one of my Mava case situations. Slade, Keep Your Hands Off My Power Supply. They have a whole brand new cover for this on the CD. And I just love this. It's so Lichtenstein. Frankenstein. But it's got Runaway, and their other big hit, Oh My. So it's from, I do believe it's 1983 is when it was released, and such a great record. 1984. It was it was recorded through 82, 83, and then 84 it was released. And I mean, High and Dry, Slam the Hammer Down. That's perfect. In the Doghouse, Keep Your Hands Off My Power Supply, Cheap and Nasty Love, Can't Tame a Hurricane, and now The Waltz, C'est La Vie, and then Ready to Explode, which is a whole kind of theatrical thing about wrapped around racing. It was great. Found a great copy of this for $4. Had to pick it up. I pick up stars wherever I can find them, because there's my buddy Richie Rano, and had a chance to meet up with some of these guys when they came through St. Louis. So It's great. These are great records. If you've never heard Stars, make sure you do it, because they are not to be missed. If you're a classic rock fan, they are not to be missed. But here we go. They got one to answer the Mava case, the mysterious alien vinyl abduction case. This is a 1981 release. I did talk to them about taking it down a bit because of the fact that somebody had written their name on it. Don't you just love that? And then there was a little bit of the spine that was a little bit frayed. So like when you see this, that kind of drives me nuts. So there was that. And then whoever this person is, they're out there. What does it say? I can't even read it. Wow. Here I thought I was going to be Connie Bowler. I don't know. So I'm like, well, they wrote on it and it's got this part of the spine. So they knocked off $5, which was cool. So she said, do you mind if I scratch this off and put 15? I go, no, I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all. Because she said it was, being the original 81 release. I'm like, I get it. So I'm like, that's fine. We can do that. I was going to throw down on 10 personally, but she said that, and I said, that's fine. I'm not here to argue. She gave us such good service and took care of us, and then gave us as we were leaving, we'd spent quite a bit of money. So she gave us a canvas bag each. Then we went over to Penny Lane. Let's take a look in our canvas bag and see what we ended up with. I got this. I flipped out. This was on sale on their sale rack, which is you go into the store and then you go over, and they have all the t-shirts and hoodies and stuff over there and socks. You'll see it on the video that I shot. And they had this for what was it, $10? Look at that. The Punisher, drawn by Mike Zeck. This was the Punisher artwork that was on issue number 1 of the 4-issue limited series of the Punisher, when Mike Zeck did the artwork. Oh, here, smell that. Smell that. Still smells like the incense at the store. Takes me right back to shopping at Co-op Tapes and Records when I was a teenager. So I'm going to hold off on, let's see, I don't need to do that. And then I had to pick up some patches. They had some patches, so I had to pick those up. So here they are. How about that? The Cult logo. I love that logo. It's so cool. So I had to get that. Yeah, I had to get it. Now, I'm going to show you. I'm going in reverse order. So the Cult was the last one I picked out. Then they had Peace of Mind by Iron Maiden. I had to get that. And then the first one I looked at, I asked her if she said, if there's anything you want to look at, just let me know and I can help you out. I said, fantastic. So she left the room and then came back, and I said, excuse me, there is something I'd like to look at. She made her way around the counter and made her way down to where I was. And I said, can I see that one? The Phoenix one, I said. And she handed me this. And I said, well, do you mind if I get technical on you for just a minute? I said, it's just such a dick move. But I told her, I said, this one actually, she goes, no, go ahead. And I said, actually, this one should be down over there in the R section, because that's Rossington Collins. And how do we know that? Because I just bought it not long ago in the antique mall. There you go. And there you go. So I was like, it should actually be over there with the R's. She's like, oh, she goes, I was wondering because I didn't know where to put it. It says on here, fire breathing eagle patch. So So no, I see why she could be confused as to where to put it, you know. So anyway, but I don't know if she's moved them, but that's where it goes, Rossington Collins. So it's kind of wild. I don't know how I'm gonna get that. I got to get this sticker off of here so I can do an iron on with it. But anyway, fell in love with that. Had to have it. And the last thing I purchased was, you've all seen it. There you go. I had to finally get the poster. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous poster. It says back catalog. But I just love this piece of artwork. And everything. So anyway, it was there. Actually, they beat the price on Amazon. It was on sale at Amazon for $12.50. And here, there's actually my favorite album is down here. That's my favorite album is Animals. And The Wall and Wish You Were Here and Dark Side of the Moon. And oh man, this one is Adam Hart Mother. And what is that one? That's the one I don't know. With like the big calliope kind of thing. I do not know that one. That's kind of interesting. It's keeping me entertained while working on the game room. Oh, absolutely. Have to run. All right, buddy. Well, have a good one. Have a good one, buddy. We'll see you Wednesday night, hopefully. So here we go. How often do I spin vinyl in my room? A lot of folks collect, but then never play the records. I know. Yeah, no, I do. My main thing right now, Miss So, is I'm getting ready to get this thing hooked up to something else so that I can record some of it. Because like I have these, radio shows that I just want to record. I'm actually also looking to buy a record cleaner. I want to ask some of these guys in the record stores or even these podcasters that do all their vinyl stuff. I want to talk to them about vinyl cleaners, and should you get those machines that spin them? I don't know what the best way is, but I do know that I was playing this Bryan Adams like a biography show that I played when I was working on the radio, and it kind of had a pop in the second side. So I'm like, okay, I got to get that figured out. But no, I've spun some. I have spun some on here. I spun that single from the Midnight Devils and the Great Affairs, new one, Sleepwalker, and of course these days, you're kind of like, do I go ahead and open it up and play it, or do I leave it sealed? Oh God, it's terrible. You should open it up and play it. Definitely. Always wondered about those cleaners. Yeah, because I don't know. They seem smart. They seem nice. It seems a little bit better than just wiping something across it. I don't know, but that's the way it goes. So we'll see what happens. Then I also, for those of you who dig animated series, I did pick up the Batman Beyond complete series on Blu-ray. That showed up the other day. And I've got, actually, I think I've got I've got to check on that. I think I have something else. There's a gentleman I know that was here in town. I mentioned him the other day about being on the show. This showed up, Dave Cal's Relish album. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. Now living in Arizona and doing great down there. So eager to check that out. Let's see. What do we have? Unless it's work, like, yeah, I know. Yeah. Like KK's Priest, I bought on vinyl and on CD. So I don't have to open it, but, and then when it comes to these remasters, I bought the remasters of a bunch of the Metallica albums, the early ones. And do you get rid of the old ones? I mean, sometimes those prices are going up now. I don't know. People stopped getting physical, and it seems like it bit them in the butt a little bit. I think I talked about that a little bit the other day. So let me see. I have an unboxing here. I told you guys I have an unboxing. So let's get that underway too. I think I know what this is, but I'm not sure. Not sure. I did order another piece of vinyl today. I was trying to find, I guess, something that people sell these days now. Yeah, it is what I thought it was. What they sell now is even album flats. It's not even an album cover complete. It's just the album flats. I used to get them at the record store. And in fact, one of the last times I did it, I got stacks of the same ones, like Peter Gabriel, So, Aerosmith, Permanent Vacation, Billy Idol's Vital Idol, and it got multiple copies. Superman, the soundtrack. And what did I get? I got another series of Archer. So I have the first 5 seasons on DVD now. Just thought I'd collect that. I enjoy that show. Took me a minute to enjoy it, but I like it. I like it. You just have to get kind of in line with with how they operate. It's brutal. I don't know. Took me a minute though. So I'm like, these guys ain't right, man. This guy's a jerk. But I guess therein lies the humor. Which is rough because I don't always see things like that anymore. Wow. It's a tough box. Tough tape. Wow. There we go. Oh. Wow, that was fast. I mean, I just ordered these. That's crazy. There we go. Because of my buddy JD. Oh, man. Look at that. Eddie Van Halen. From like the first albums. It's really, really cool. There you go. There's a picture. There you go. That's what it looks like. Kind of. It's from that. Kind of, I guess, the first album, second album, right in there. That's awesome. Killer. All right. I think that covers I think that's everything. Yeah. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for hanging out. Well, hello. Yep. Pops. Yeah. Never got into the Pops. Yeah, there are a lot of cool ones, and I have to watch it because I don't want to go too nuts with them. But there's some fun ones out there, and I dig it. I like the style. And although Jeff and I are in agreement about the what was it? It was the Furley, the Mr. Furley from Three's Company that looked more like Charles Nelson Riley than it did Mr. Furley. We both agreed on that. So anyway, but yeah, that's that. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. It's getting late. I got to get to bed. Got to go to work tomorrow. So this last bit here, let me show you. This is Penny Lane. This is the outside and the front entrance to Penny Lane there in Springfield, Illinois. So if you're ever driving through there, it is kind of, I don't know, it's not too far off the highway. And so you go into that door, and then as you go to your right, as you go inside the door, you can walk through the head shop room, and then you can go up the stairs, and there's more shop up top. Ooh, how about that? Then you can come back down. If you come in the front door and you go to the left, then you go into there's a section there with t-shirts and stuff, and then even another section to go into. So it is a sprawling place. You go into the back straight from this front door. You go straight back, and there is a room full of posters, movies, bands, anime, whatever, television, cool posters, whatever. But their posters only are $11 for these big 24 by 36 posters. And so it's great. I loved it. Love it. We'll be going back. to get things. So happy birthday, Elvis. And off the top of my head, Elvis, Robbie Krieger, David Bowie. So enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we will see you just in a couple of days. So be sure to stay tuned. And again, like and subscribe. It's we're having a lot of fun. We're growing the channel. We are looking forward to the future and the things that will be happening here. You guys have a great one. Remember, when you step outside your door, they're in everybody else's world. They're not in yours. Take it easy, guys.